Hello everyone, welcome to Bards and Books. I'm Usman, and today we are doing a tag video, specifically the song tag, and I was tagged by Robert at Punk Rock Cereal Bowl, so thank you Robert for tagging me. Robert is a good friend here on BookTube, and he has a very unique channel. You should go check it out. He does book reviews in song formats at times, which is really unique, and it's very fitting that he's tagging me for this because I find his musical taste to be very eclectic. He likes a wide range of many different genres. So yeah, absolutely check him out. I'll link him below. And to start off, I have been away for a couple of weeks. I went to the Philippines to visit some family. So if I'm looking a little more tan than usual, that's why. And I have a lot of videos to catch up on now, consequentially. So let's do it. Question number 1. Name a song that always makes you happy. I do have a song like that. It makes me as happy as I can be, I suppose. And that is Lovely Day by Bill Withers. A bit of a more relaxed song, more easygoing vibes. It's not metal. Bet you didn't see that coming. But yeah, it's really chill. It really it just lifts your spirits. I mean, it's in the title, Lovely Day, right? It is one that can put you in a really relaxing, peaceful mood when you are feeling some other way, I guess. So you can maybe look it up and check it out and have yourself a lovely day. Now for a book answer, I'm going to try my best to give book answers for these tags. I know a lot of people have done that, and it's a book channel, so I might as well. But one that always makes me happy is, well, one that I discovered recently, and that's Discworld, a series. I've read the first 2 books, and I also read Mort, the 4th book, and it always cracks me up, puts me in a good mood, you know, in a happy mood, I suppose. Number 2, name a song that's a good fit for when you're in a pensive mood. This is an interesting one. I had to think about this for a while because it doesn't specifically say one that makes you happy or uplifts you and, you know, makes you joyful or anything like that, not like the previous question. So it's interesting. And my answer for this is Woods of Eternity by Duskmorn. Now, I've talked about Duskmorn before on this channel. They are a metal band. They're from the US, although they sound very European, and this track is an instrumental, so anybody can listen to it. You don't have to be a metalhead. There's no vocals, no lyrics. It's just a beautiful melody. For me, it doesn't necessarily make me happy or like lift my spirits in a joyful kind of way, but if I'm in a pensive mood and I listen to this, it definitely kind of just takes me away, you know, whisks me away into I guess into an enchanted world or somewhere where it can just bring peace, I suppose. So yeah, it's kind of in the title as well, Woods of Eternity. It's kind of has the vibes of like an enchanted realm or something. If you like fantasy, yeah, I would recommend you listen to this track. So that's a great fit for kind of dissipating any negative emotions I may have at the time. It kind of whisks me away and just brings me peace and comfort. Now for a bookish answer, I will say Discworld again, the Discworld series. If I'm in a pensive mood, I can kind of go to that. There's not a whole lot of books that I can turn to if I'm in a pensive mood, so I would have to say Discworld. It is an uplifting series. It brings a smile to your face. It cracks you up. How could it not, be a good fit for being in a pensive mood? Number 3, name a song that changed your taste in music. Okay, so for this song, I will go ahead and say Bat Country by Avenged Sevenfold. This is a metal track, but I haven't mentioned this before, but I didn't always like metal. I grew up on rap and hip hop for the most part. That's what I listened to for all of my childhood up until I basically turned 16, and that's when I moved here to Vancouver, and life-changing events and just it was like a brand new start for me. So I made some new friends while I was here, and they had very different musical tastes. They were into a lot of like hard rock and alternative rock and punk and that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I played this game called Rock Band for Xbox. It was like Guitar Hero, except you got all of the instruments. You got drums, guitar, whatever. And that's where I heard the song Bat Country by Avenged Sevenfold, who are, I guess, kind of like a metalcore, hardcore kind of band. And I thought it was super unique. I wasn't necessarily into that kind of music at the time, but I thought it was really, really interesting, and it sounded really good in a way that the vocals didn't kind of take away from it, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, it was good enough that the vocals didn't kind of tamper with my enjoyment of it. So that's kind of how I got into the vocal style of metal. and from there I kind of expanded into other stuff and became the metalhead that I am today. So if it wasn't for Avenged Sevenfold and Bad Country, that song, or specifically that album, City of Evil, then I probably wouldn't have even gotten into metal. So that's my long-winded answer there. And for a book series, I will say the book that definitely changed my taste in genre enjoyment would be the Halo series by Eric Nyland, is it? Eric Nyland. He wrote the Halo books, and I discovered that before I played the video games Halo, which I'm sure you know the Halo video games. But I read the books first, and I just fell in love with them. I read them back in high school for the first time, and I thought it was super interesting, super unique. That really triggered my kind of love for sci-fi, and I have expanded a little more into sci-fi. I don't like as much as fantasy, but I do like it a lot more than I would have had I not read the Halo books by Eric Nyland. If you want the entire history, backstory of the Master Chief from when he was a wee lad up until he became the Master Chief, definitely check out those books. The first book, The Fall of Reach, is my favorite. It has some very, very dark elements in it too, some pretty brutal stuff, but it just grips you the entire way, and you're just like, wow, this is really unique, really cool, really badass. Number 4, name a recent song that you've just discovered and loved. So I can't really give a proper answer for this, as I don't discover new music regularly. It's been quite some time. I can't even tell you the last song that I discovered, but I will mention one that I've kind of rediscovered and it has just been playing in my head nonstop for a couple months now. It's kind of annoying, but that song is Colony of Birchmen by Mastodon. This is a metal song, although it's kind of got that old school vibe in terms of like, there's no screaming, there's no growling. It's just, I guess it would sound more like your alternative or hard rock kind of deal. That's the vocal style. There's like, it's not harsh at all. The instruments, the background is very metal. You know, you got double bass kick and some low guitar riffs and all that. But you should definitely listen to the track, see if you like it or not. It's very catchy, especially the chorus, and it's very fantasy-esque. I mean, a lot of metal that I listen to is very fantasy-esque. That's why I say that it works so well. Fantasy and metal kind of goes hand in hand. So it's called Colony of Birchmen, and it's about a werewolf or something that kind of goes off into the woods while he's turning, and the trees just start turning, warping into these like soldiers, these birchmen, and he's kind of got to like fight his way through it. It's so cool, the theory behind the song. But yeah, I would recommend just listening to it at least once. It's pretty decent. You could very well come away with enjoying it at least a little bit. Now for a book answer, one that I read recently and really loved was 11th Cycle by Kian and Ardalan. It's a very grim, dark book, but it just had a lot of elements that I really vibed with. It's got a very eldritch kind of pantheon. It's a really grim, bleak world. Some very traumatic stuff that the characters go through. Is very much a character study, and all these things I just love, so it's all rolled into one nice package for me, and that's why I enjoyed it so much. Number 5, name 3 bands or artists that you love. This is an easy one. So number 1, first and foremost, is Winter Sun. I can't tell you how many times I've talked about them already, but Winter Sun is my favorite band of all time. Specifically their Time 1 album. They only have 3 albums out, but Time 1 is a masterful album. Just, it's perfection. I love that album. It's only 5 tracks, 2 instrumentals and 3 kind of long epics. It does get some harsh growls at times. It has that. A lot of singing at times too. And then of course the instrumentals. If you haven't heard Time 1, listen to Time 1. Even if you don't like metal, you should listen to that album. I can't see anyone who doesn't love fantasy not loving that album, or at least a few songs from that album. So please check it out. I will keep harping on Winter Sun for as long as I need to until everyone I know has checked them out. The second band is Duskmorn, which I answered in a previous answer already. Like I said, they're a US band. They sound very European, very fantasy-esque. They only have 3 albums out, but the first 2 are the ones I like. The first album is probably one that you might enjoy if you're not a metalhead. The second one, not so much. It gets very black metal in the second album. And the third one, I didn't really vibe with, or at least have not yet. But the first album of Duskmorn, titled Legends, Very, very good album, top notch. That's where Woods of Eternity is from, the answer that I gave previously. And yeah, just check them out. You might love them. Number 3 is Sonata Arctica. This is a power metal band, so it's all singing. Don't worry if you don't like metal. Anybody can listen to their songs and love them. Their songs are the only ones that kind of get me emotional sometimes. They have a lot of ballads, like I've mentioned in a previous video. So if you love ballads, this is the band for you. And all 3 of these bands, I gave these answers. There could have been other answers, but I gave these 3 bands because they're the ones that kind of invoke the most emotion out of me when I'm listening to them. So yeah. As for 3 books that I love, the first one would be 11th Cycle, Keen and Ardalon. I love that book. I gotta harp on it again. 2 would be The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. This caught me by surprise. It's like a historical fiction, not really fantasy, but I found it very realistic and in that sense. And it does get very dark at times, but that's the reality of I guess, it's the reality of the world, especially during that time. And it was just a very interesting story, very gripping story. I couldn't stop turning the pages, even though the book's like, 900 pages or something? Anyways, it's a 5-star book. You should definitely check it out, The Pillars of the Earth. And as for number 3, that would be The Gift by Patrick O'Leary. Not a very well-known book, but it's a relatively short book, and it's just a very wholesome fantasy. So it does get a little dark at times, but it is kind of like a story within a story within a story, that kind of story. So if you're into that, but it doesn't get convoluted, it doesn't get very confusing, at nothing like that. It's very easy to follow. And it's basically just about the joy of storytelling and the value in it, and again, it's very wholesome, very very easy to read, so definitely check out The Gift by Patrick O'Leary. Number 6, what instrument would you like to be able to play? That's an easy one for me. That's the guitar. I am a drummer. That's the instrument I've played since high school. But I've always wanted to learn guitar and get good at it. I mean, guitar players for me have always kind of been like the poster child of the cool musician or the, the badass or whatever. And I have tried guitar. I've tried playing it. It's too technical. I can't get the gist of it. There's just too much going on there, and I'm not smart enough to learn all that or get a good hold of that. I have very, primal instincts, I guess you could say. That's why I'm a drummer. But yeah, my answer is guitar. Number 7, name a fiction book with music at the center of its narrative. So this was a tough one. I haven't read a lot with, musically themed books. I also haven't read a lot in general. But I did find one that I've read that has music basically at the center of the narrative, and that is Song of Time by Terry McLaren. And this is a Magic the Gathering book. This is actually one of the original 10 Magic the Gathering books that were published by Harper Prism before they became non-canon and kind of forsaken, I guess. If you don't know Magic the Gathering, it's a popular card game, which I am a fan of and used to play. But I am very, very deep into the lore of Magic the Gathering. That's kind of why I got into it, for the storytelling. They do have a lot of books out, and I have all the Magic the Gathering books, which I will be reading sometime in the future and possibly reviewing as well. So if you're looking for Magic the Gathering content, look no further. It will be coming down the pipe soon. Anyways, that's all my answers for the song tag. Again, thank you to Robert at Punk Rock Cereal Bowl for tagging me. I'm not gonna tag anyone. That's not really my thing. I guess I'll go ahead and be one of those people that's like, if you enjoyed this and you feel like doing it, consider yourself tagged. But anyways, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time.